It's amazing how two different people can watch the same video and walk away with two diametrically opposed views on the exact same video that they just watched. This new video that was just uploaded by the Young Turks called A Vision of the Future If We Pass the Green New Deal is based on this video that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just put out through The Intercept entitled A Message from the Future with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I would comment on everything in this video right here, but let me just suffice it to say while we go over this Young Turks video is that anytime a statist speaks, and I don't care if it's a left-leaning statist like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and just fill in the blank, or a right-leaning statist, fill in the blank on that. Anytime a statist speaks, especially a political statist in regard to policy, it's always on the level of they want to control you. They want to control you. They'll come up with a whole slew of reasons why they want to control you. We've got to save the planet. It's for the children. We've got to give you health care. We've got to give you free education. They'll come up with any excuse they can. But the bottom line, when you peel everything away, every good sounding argument, it comes down to we want to control you. We want to remove just a little bit more of your freedoms so that we can provide you with what we call security and safety, which never happens, guys. Every time we give away our liberties, when they promise us safety and security, the safety and security never comes, but the liberties always fly out the window. And don't ever think you're going to get those back either. Once power takes something, they don't normally give it back. So let's listen to what the Young Turks say about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's new groundbreaking video.
Recently, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez joined forces with Molly Crabapple, Naomi Klein, a number of really wonderful people to put together this video about the Green New Deal. Now, the whole point of the video is to show you what the future could be like, what a country and what the world would be like decades from now if we pass the Green New Deal. And I really
Now, actually what the video is about is how we can more cleverly control the masses, how we can get more people on our side so they can clamor to us to take away more of their freedoms. That's what this video is about. Guys, that is exactly what this video is about. And that's what politics is about.
I like this. Molly Crabapple is the individual doing the animation, not the animations, the illustrations as you watch this video. Let's take a look at the first one.
Those were years of massive change, and not all of it was good. When Hurricane Sheldon hit southern Florida, parts of Miami went underwater for the last time. But as we battled the floods, fires, and droughts, we knew how lucky we were to have started acting when we did. And we didn't just change the infrastructure, we changed how we did things. We became a society that was not only modern and wealthy, but dignified and humane too. By committing to universal rights like healthcare and meaningful work for all,
Universal rights like healthcare and meaningful work for all. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's not about that we so much have rights. There's a big issue with this. Let's just first deal with this. A person who comes along and says, like when Bernie says, healthcare is a human right. Free tuition is a human right. When somebody says that you have a right, let's just say it's you have a right. That means somebody else has an obligation to provide you with that right. That means somebody else has to be forced against their will to provide for what somebody else says is your right. So in life, it's not so much that you have a right to health care, you have a right to food. How about a right to water, or a right to clothing, a right to shelter? It's not so much that you have a right. You know what the right you have is? It's like a negative right. You have the right not to harm someone else. You have a right not to infringe on somebody else's rights. You have a right not to hinder somebody else. You have a right not to get into somebody else's space. It's definitely not that you have a right to be provided for by someone else. Because what if somebody else doesn't want to provide for you? Are you going to force them to provide for you? Government's answer is yes. We are going to force others to provide for you because we believe that you have a right to health care. Therefore, we're going to extort money from other people who worked hard for it to give you health care. Do you want free tuition? All right, no problem. We're going to steal from other people so we can provide you with what we view as a right to free tuition. These rights that AOC and others like the Young Turks talk about are not really rights. They're what they claim are rights, but what it really is oppression for others so that they can fulfill what you perceive as your needs when all it is really your desire. You desire to have free healthcare, you desire to have free tuition, but your desire comes at the expense of somebody else's hard work. And we need to understand that.
Stop being so scared of the future. We stopped being scared of each other, and we found our shared purpose.
And before I get to their comments, fear is always the thing that governments go back to. They want the people to be in fear. They want to create a problem and wait for a fear-based reaction so that they can step in and provide a solution like the Green New Deal or free tuition for all or free universal health care. They want to be the providers. The government wants to provide for you. They want you to look at them as mommy or daddy government. Don't worry, we'll take care of you. We'll keep you safe. We'll keep you secure. All we have to do that is take away freedoms from other people so that we can provide for your needs when it's really not needs at all. So what say you, the Young Turks?
What I love about this is it draws attention to the similarities between the New Deal and the Green New Deal. And so Naomi Klein did a great job in writing about this for The Intercept.
What was so good about the New Deal? What was so good about it? They're going to talk about some things that they perceived were good. What about gold confiscation during the New Deal? What about Japanese internment camps under the New Deal?
I'm going to give you a few excerpts about what she wrote in just a minute. But what I like about the video is how it focuses on, yeah, this is a big idea. This is not going to be easy. This is a massive change, but there are huge benefits that come along with it. So there's this
huge benefits of initiating unjust force and violence on people who don't want to go along with the Green New Deal plan.
Optimistic message. And of course, woven into the video is what's going to happen if we don't take drastic action.
Right. And there's Anna Kasparian is always talking about fear mongering. What's going to happen to our world? She just did it. She did it by implication. What's going to happen to our world if we don't implement the Green New Deal? Our planet is basically doomed. And that's how they paint it, guys. How they paint it is we only have 12 years left. If we don't do something now, the world's toast, dude. It's toast. Fear-mongering. Fear-mongering.
Right. Yeah. And I think the point that they make, Naomi Klein, AOC, and Molly Crabapple, who also has done amazing work for the drug war video with Jay-Z a couple of years ago that was in the New York Times, is that there is a different future available to us. And while politicians and cultural production all around us point towards a dystopia, we actually, if we act now, have a different possible generative future available to us, but we have to want to be active agents in it.
Yes, definitely. So let's go to the next video. When we come back, I'm going to show you some of the similarities between the New Deal and the Green New Deal. Take a look.
She loves FDR. She loves the New Deal. She loves AOC's Green New Deal.
The wave began when Democrats took back the House in 2018, and then the Senate and the White House in 2020, and launched the
Who took over? The Democrats. The Democrats are the good guys. It's the left versus right paradigm, guys.
Decade of the Green New Deal, a flurry of legislation that kicked off our social and ecological transformation to save the planet.
There you go. Save the planet. That's what the Green New Deal is all about. If you don't want the Green New Deal, you don't want to save the planet, and you're a bad guy.
It was the kind of swing for the fence ambition we needed. Finally, we were entertaining solutions on the scale of the crises we faced.
Can you even imagine that? Is there anything more oxymoronic than government solutions? Government is not part of the world's problems. Government is the problem.
Without leaving anyone behind. That included Medicare for all.
That almost sounds like No Child Left Behind. Who came up with No Child Left Behind? Oh, it was a Republican. Now a Democrat saying leave no one behind. Hey, we're all inclusive. We tolerate everybody. But the only thing we don't tolerate are people who don't sign on to this decade of the Green New Deal. They're the bad guys, and we need to get rid of them.
The most popular social program in American history.
To which I say, who cares how popular something is? What if 99% of the people wanted to steal from the 1%? The majority wanting to steal from the minority. When you have a whole slew of people doing that which is immoral, being in the majority does not make it any less immoral.
We also introduced the federal jobs guarantee, a public option including dignified living wages for work.
Jobs guarantee, medical health guarantee, tuition guarantee. The government's guaranteeing everything. You know, it's so easy to help somebody when you're using other people's money to do it. And the reason they can use other people's money is because they have a monopoly on force. They're stealing money out of everybody else's pockets so that they can fund their own projects.
Funnily enough, the biggest problem in those early years was a labor shortage.
The biggest problem in those early years and every year is government. If government would just get the hell out of the way, can you imagine the things that we would accomplish?
Building a national smart grid, retrofitting every building in America, putting trains like...
A national smart grid, guys. A national smart grid is a surveillance state. Make no mistake about it. The smart grid will be used to surveil you, to control you, to manipulate you, and to punish you if you don't comply with their policies.
This one, all across the country. We needed more workers.
So it talks about so many different...
Did you hear? What's this reaction here?
So it talks about so many different...
Oh, AOC is so great. These three are caught up and cemented in the cult of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez personality. They love AOC. AOC can do no wrong. You will never hear any substantial criticism of AOC from anybody at the Young Turks, ever.
Issues there that I really love. And to give you an idea of how similar the reception was to the New Deal, to the Green New Deal, Naomi Klein writes that elite critics derided FDR's plans as everything from creeping fascism to closet communism
Yeah, like gold confiscation?
a 1933 equivalent of "they're coming for your hamburgers."
Or we're coming for the Japanese internment camps.
Republican Senator Henry Hatfield of West Virginia wrote to a colleague, quote, "This is despotism. This is tyranny. This is the annihilation of liberty."
Check, and check. I don't know who this Henry D. Hatfield is. I would be against him because he's a political puppet, but he still says something that's absolutely correct here. It is despotism. It is tyranny. It is the annihilation of liberty. Anytime you propose a plan like AOC's Green New Deal or anything like this, FDR's New Deal, it doesn't matter. It is despotism. It is tyranny. It is the annihilation of liberty, because if you don't go along with their policies, you will be punished.
Ordinary American is thus reduced to the status of a robot. So the fear...
It's more reduced to the status of a slave. Slave, you do what I say and you won't get whipped.
Fear-mongering was very much apparent in how people reacted to the New Deal. And
yeah, fear-mongering. Tell us about fear-mongering, Anna. We only have 12 years. Scientists tell us we only have 12 years. We've got to do something. Can you think of anything more fear-mongering than that?
Of course, we're seeing the same thing right now when it comes to the Green New Deal. Historian Kim Phillips Pine, author of Invisible Hands, The Businessmen's Crusade Against the New Deal, told me that the parallels of today's attacks on the Green New Deal in outlets like the New York Times are obvious. They didn't outright oppose it, but in many cases, they would argue that you don't want to make so many changes at once, that it was too big, too quick, that the administration should wait and study more. So that...
Yeah, how about we can't afford it? How about we can't afford foreign aid to Israel? How about we can't afford supporting the military-industrial complex? How about we can't afford to have the IRS any longer on American soil terrorizing Americans? How about we need to vanquish the Federal Reserve? These people never talk about the real issues that are affecting America. They always talk about side issues like AOC's Green New Deal, or they talk about, oh, they're coming out against Ilhan Omar because they say she's anti-Semitic. They always deal with the small potatoes, guys.
What was the reaction to FDR's New Deal? And we're seeing it today with the Green New Deal. It's amazing.
It's so crazy to me that if you look back on some, the New Deal is now considered one of the shining examples of American history, right?
From whose perspective? FDR's New Deal was a tyrannical rollout. It limited individual freedoms and increased the size of government, and that is never a good deal.
It's when we instituted Social Security. It's when we built the Hoover.
Social Security was then and is now the theft of the American people. These guys are totally for immorality.
Dam, like all these amazing things that we take for granted in American society.
When government gets involved, guys, prices go up, quality goes down. Have certain things been done under the helm of government that look like they were pretty good, like the Hoover Dam and roads and things that she's talking about? Yes. But if the free market was in control of those operations, they could have done it for way cheaper, way better quality.
Society right now as shining examples of American prosperity.
If you guys want me to go over this Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez intercept video, I'll do it in a future video. Just let me know what you think about this in the comments section below, and I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.